They're all flat. There aren't any exceptions. You're never going to show me a measurement with respect to anything other than a plane. That's what azimuth and altitude are. It's positional information. It's altitude with respect to the horizon. The degree, yeah? All of the cycles that are measured are planar. So that's all you've done. You've appealed to that which goes without saying. That's to say you will measure degrees from a flat Earth and directionality for positional information in azimuthal horizontal directionality terminology. That's what you've done. You're using flat Earth measurements, you stupid bimbo.
Yeah, but with all that considered, Nathan, she did smile quite wide, so that's just as convincing.
You're saying having a nice smile means that she can condescend to us with the, it's all okay, you don't need to worry about the moon being out of the day, it's perfectly normal. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's just what I need with a cheesy smile. I was very concerned.
And like she's teaching us a religion like we're children, like we're learning for the first time. Like, oh, really? Oh,
what is the moon anyway?
Yeah, she hasn't said that yet. She hasn't actually explained anything. She's just talking to us like we're 3-year-olds and didn't understand. Like, I remember a Jaffa cake advert where literally there's a teacher teaching the kids about the moon's phase cycles with Jaffa cakes. And she's like, full moon.
Full moon.
Half moon.
Half moon.
Total eclipse.
Total eclipse.
With Jaffa cakes.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, miss.
Full moon.
Full moon.
Half moon.
Half moon.
Total eclipse.
Total eclipse.
Good. Now, let's do it one more time.
Many of those happen during the day.
Wow.
For example, the first quarter moon is
Yeah, so I said, oh, wow. It's amazing. Yeah, it's almost like the sun and moon are on slightly different cycles, like a lunar cycle and a solar cycle. Amazing.
visible in the afternoon and evening. Third quarter moon is visible late night into the early morning. And the crescent moon is often visible shortly after sunrise or...
What? Do you think that these are set? No, they're moving on different cycles. They can happen at alternating times. That's to say these phases can occur throughout the year at all sorts of different times with respect to the sun, because they're on different cycles. I mean, that seems obvious to me, but to you, it's like you think they're on a consistent pattern together. Like at certain times of the night, with respect to the day cycle, we'll get a certain type of moon phase. That's fundamentally incorrect. It's almost like you haven't spent much time looking at the sun and moon, my love.
or before sunset.
Sorry, sunset, did you say? A sunset is a planar description. To be setting is to be moving in the vertical with respect to the horizon. That's the horizontal with respect to the vertical. To be setting, to paraphrase somebody who came across our company in recent times. Actually, sunrise and sunset can only happen with respect to a plane. That's paraphrasing, of course.
Sunrise and sunset alone.
Sunrise and sunset debunks flat Earth.
Hold on. Hold on a second, but you got to be careful because so many times when I first got into this flat Earth, I would see images and these people would be saying the moon is out during the day and it shouldn't be out during the day. And I'm telling you, they'll have an answer for it in heliocentrism.
Totally normal, completely expected, and not suspicious.
It's a good job you're here, love. I was very, very concerned about this.
For goodness sake, the real mystery is how this became controversial in the first place.
Because you've got a heliocentric worldview, and everything you've appealed to in terms of its movements, setting, rising, the average for the time system that you use, the angles, its positional data, everything you've appealed to is flat Earth by prerequisite. The measurements of this light are planar in every single measurement example. They're all flat. There aren't any exceptions. You're never going to show me a measurement with respect to anything other than a plane. That's what azimuth and altitude are. It's positional information. It's altitude with respect to the horizon. The degree, yeah? All of the cycles that are measured are planar. So that's all you've done. You've appealed to that which goes without saying. That's to say you will measure degrees from a flat Earth and directionality for positional information in azimuthal horizontal directionality terminology. That's what you've done. You're using flat Earth measurements, you stupid bimbo.
Yeah, but with all that considered, Nathan, she did smile quite wide, so that's just as convincing.
You're saying having a nice smile means that she can condescend to us with the, it's all okay, you don't need to worry about the moon being out of the day, it's perfectly normal. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's just what I need with a cheesy smile. I was very concerned.
And that Earth rotates at 1,000 miles per hour at the...
No, we didn't learn that. The suggested evidence that the globe Earthers use to make that inference isn't that we wouldn't frickin' notice. That's what you suggested. The suggestion comes with a 15 degrees an hour deviation that you'd have to demonstrate. You can't, it doesn't happen. But that's the globe Earth's rhetoric. Like Coriolis deflection is the suggested heliocentric proof of movement. Now, the mathematics of movement is derived by taking flat Earth planar measurements of altitude and angles, in elevation terminology, to these lights, so we can derive systems like time and latitude and longitude and position and coordinates, all of which are planar. So why is there a controversy? Because you were raised with a shitty education that taught you that there's a force that counteracts this non-effect that we are experiencing. That's your shit education. That's why we've got controversy. Because people like you had a crap education, a cheap, state-based crap education. That's why.
The equator.
Sorry, the equator? Yeah, where did you get that value from? Yeah, did you do much primary source research before spurging out this nonsense? Yeah, we'll need a flat Earth to derive the convention of the equator. It's derived from flat Earth planar measurements of altitude angles to Polaris. It's minimum giving you this extremity. A convention derived from flat Earth measurements that gives you your heliocentric equatorial plane so that you can mathematise the idea of moving around the sun as per Kepler, Huygens and Polaris derivation for a radius value, none of which has been explored by you. You've given us the most basic high school understanding that you could offer and then suggested that you're in a position of superiority to talk down to your audience? How dare you, dumb bimbo! You'll get me shouting at you and calling you ignorant. That's what you'll get while you smile. Called stupid. Yeah, we took a vote on your stupidity, and every single person in my audience was correct about your ignorance of heliocentric forces that aren't forces. Gravity is not a force. It's the bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry afforded you by the uneven distribution of mass, causing the bending and warping of space-time. That's Einsteinian gravity. I want to know what my panel thinks this bimbo will appeal to. Which side will she fall? Will she be high school educated and 111 years out of date, or up to date with the Einsteinian pseudo-bent space-time geometry? Which one? Got two. Len and Neil say Newtonian. Any more for any more?
Newtonian.
Yeah, got you
That's
already.
4 for me.
Newtonian.
Sensual Goat, Newtonian. We've got Surf Daddy says Newtonian, that's 4. Everybody's betting on you being a dumb bimbo who's only received a high school education when it comes to gravity. Let's ask the chat. Type 1 if you think she is a high school only bimbo and will now appeal to a force that's not a force that you can think of as a force called Newtonian gravity. Or type 2 if you think, no, she's actually educating and will appeal to a bent pseudo-Riemannian space-time geometry, known as the bending and warping of space-time as a result of the uneven distribution of mass in Einstein's field equations. Which one will she go to? Bimbo, type 1, higher educated, type 2.
Hey, it's going to be Newtonian across the board.
1. Got lots of ones already. Oh, we've got 2. OBE line. Go against the consensus and say 2. Got to book the trend somewhere. Divergent droid. Either way, she's wrong. Lol. Best answer so far from one of my mods. Thank you very much indeed. Got lots of ones. I think it's a consensus. Right, should we find out? You're going to be proving a bimbo and you're going to go for Newtonian gravity forces that aren't a force. Let's see if they're right.
Earth's gravity is constantly pulling you towards the center.
Boom! You are all absolutely right. Pulling, you say? Ah, love. Now it's time for a lesson in Einsteinian gravity. Let's give you a few quotes. Let's start with George Musa. Gravity is not a force. George Musa, Scientific American. Or, if you prefer, the English version, we've got Professor Brian Cox. Quote, there isn't really a force of gravity at all. End quote, Professor Brian Cox. It seems like you are just stupid, a complete bimbo. You're 111 years out of date. No, things that aren't forces don't pull anything. You're not going to be pulling anything with gravity. The bending and warping of space-time as a result of the uneven distribution of mass, as Einsteinian gravity superseding Newtonian in 1915 has demonstrated, in mathematics, won't be pulling anything, you stupid bimbo. My God. Yep, definitely only reached high school level of education when it comes to gravity. Now it's, quote, not a force, my love. The physical and natural world through phenomena. That is to say, when you see something happening, you say, oh, I wonder why that happened. The thing that has occurred in physical reality, that's physics, is also known as a dependent variable. It forms half of a scientific prediction called a hypothesis. An independent variable would be your presumed cause, that's the influencer yet to be validated, of the phenomena that you observed and wondered why it happened. That's a cause and effect supposition known as a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis. It's mirrored by something called a null hypothesis or zero difference result. If your presumed cause, that's A, then the dependent variable, that's the phenomena, B. Null being if A, your presumed causal influencer, then not B, you don't observe the effect. Both predictions exist simultaneously as a mirror to one another in a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis. The actualization of a hypothesis, that's an experiment, is the king of physics, the study of the physical and natural world. It's where you vary and manipulate that which you presume causes the effect you observed at step 1, that's a phenomena in the physical and natural world, that's physics, to see if it causes... That's a validation of your alternative hypothesis, if A, then B. Or does not cause, that's a validation of your null hypothesis, if A, not B, the effect that you are studying. If it does cause the effect, you know the cause of the effect. You have validated your prediction. That's science. That's physics. You suggesting that us not noticing is physics is an absolute travesty. It is the highest degree of ignorance that you could demonstrate, you high school educated bimbo.
And the moon shows up during the day. Also fine. The universe is not malfunctioning.
The universe is a derivation of flat Earth by prerequisite into a system of orbital elliptical motion created and invented mathematically by the Church, the Roman Catholic Church. That's what it is. You're saying, oh, it's all right, everything's okay here. What are you talking about? We measure Earth flat and have created a system to better understand the movements of the lights in the sky with out-of-the-box thinking that puts us inside a ball on an equatorial plane moving around the sun in those mathematics. That's all you've got. And your suggestion that the inference of those positional information data that's also taken from a plane is an actual extrapolated heliocentric world for you to stand on. Again, that is the conclusion of a high school educated bimbo.
If something in the sky looks weird, the answer is almost always, there's a perfectly good explanation for this.
Okay, let's hear it then. In your next video, explain in detail what the sun is and how you know that's the case. Then do it for the moon. Yeah, give me your perfectly reasonable explanation for what the hell these two lights even are. I'm all ears. You haven't done that. What you have done is said, we know we're moving because we wouldn't notice. Completely pissing in the face of the suggested globe Earth evidence of Coriolis defection at 15 degrees an hour. That's what you've done. You pissed in the globe Earth face of this suggestion of Coriolis deviation. Wouldn't notice the 15 degrees an hour that is suggested to prove a globe Earth spinning. Now, if you actually adhered to the globe Earth rhetoric of a claimed demonstrable 15 degrees an hour deviation that we're supposed to notice, then I would put it to you that if we have balls drifting through goalposts, because Earth is suggested to turn underneath, when we notice, then flight times would be shortened and drones would be drifting away. Now, you haven't used the actual globe Earth rhetoric for me to brace against. That just makes you a complete fool. That's all it does.
Not
Simon
everything.
down level of stupidity.
Yeah, absolutely. Just dumb to the core.
We know is a lie. Okay?
What?
Thank you so much. There's a perfectly
lie?
good explanation for this. Not everything we know is a lie.
Nobody said that. You disingenuous bimbo. Not one person in the video has said that to you. Nobody in your response that you're critiquing the videos said everything's a lie. So this is a straw man fallacy. So we've had about 4 different fallacies. We've had false equivalence, burden of proof reversal fallacy, baseless assertion, and now this. Wow. So straw man.
Your ongoing Ipsy-Dixit fallacy. Oh, just because you say so. Meanwhile, yeah, the Earth's measured flat with every measurement that you've given, love.